What is up, everybody? I'm SidsLight, and this is Tales from the Trash Can, where I review different horror movies that I've watched or rewatched recently, and just share my love for horror movies with everyone. Today's movie is a classic, most would say. It was the movie that got Steven Spielberg his break into film, and honestly, after this, he was on a roll all the way up until he made like War of the Worlds and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where, he jumped the proverbial shark, as it were. But this movie was his breakthrough, and that movie is Jaws, a 1975 horror movie about a shark that has come to kill people at the city of Amity Island in New England. It is a phenomenal movie. As far as just movie experiences go, it is a very good movie. I can't think of how best to phrase that. If you're looking for a horror movie to watch, I don't think it's the scariest horror movie. It is undeniably a horror movie. It's just, we've gotten a lot better at scaring people with horror movies over the years, and we rely on a lot of visual tricks and stuff to get people now that they didn't really do then. That said, they did get me to jump once with a corpse popping up. Little bastards. So good for you, Steven Spielberg. Anyways, the movie stars people I'm not really familiar with because I don't know actors of that era in particular, except for Richard Dreyfuss, who plays Hooper the Oceanographer. Richard Dreyfuss is phenomenal. He is a great comedy actor. His daughter was on Seinfeld, also a great comedy actress. Very prolific and talented family. He's great in What About Bob, for instance. But anyways, the movie itself, I'm going to go ahead and discuss spoilers right now, so I'm going to put up the spoiler marker, and you guys can jump past this if you don't want to hear spoilers about the story, or you just want to jump and see the rating. Don't just jump and see the rating. But you can. That's that. The movie is fantastic. It starts off with a woman being attacked by a shark and her body washing up on shore. The coroner's like, hey, this is definitely a shark. So the police chief, Brody, he wants to shut down the whole beach. But this is obviously a problem as the town relies on tourism. So they get the coroner to lie. They claim it's all good. It was a mistake. It was probably a propeller or something. Definitely wasn't a shark. Totally not a shark, right? Bullshit. Anyways, the mayor gets him to go with it. Police Chief Brody's like, all right, whatever. And a kid ends up getting killed at the beach. At a crowded beach, this little boy gets murdered. His mom places a bounty saying, hey, I will pay $3,000 to whoever kills that shark. And then this, of course, attracts a ton of people to the region looking for sharks, including Quinn, this crazy super shark hunter. At one point they showed this guy's house and he's got so many sharks jaws mounted everywhere. He's clearly hunted a ton of them. And at the same time, another man shows up, Matt Hooper, just Hooper is all they call him, really. Hooper is the oceanographer, played by Richard Dreyfuss. He shows up and he's like, hey, yeah, I checked those wounds. Definitely a shark. At one point, some of the hunters pull in a shark, but it's a tiger shark. They cut it open, and they're like, all right, it definitely wasn't... Well, they don't cut it open then, but they cut it open later. And they're like, okay, no kid's parts in there. This isn't the shark that killed him, because it would definitely still have those. It's just a tiger shark, and it came up from the south, because it had a license plate from the south in it. At this point, though, these three men, the hunter Quint, Hooper, and the police chief Brody, they start hunting for the shark Jaws. I don't know if the shark ever got a name. They start hunting for the shark Jaws, though. And they're going around, they're investigating different crashes, stuff like that, trying to find out where it is and hunt it down. And of course, as it's going, the shark is killing other people who are trying to hunt it too, which leads to the eventual showdown between Brody, Quint, and Hooper's boat against the shark. And they're doing things like they're shooting it with harpoons that attach flotation barrels to it so that when it dives, it gets exhausted. Very clever. Horrible, but clever. At one point, they've got like 3 on it, and they're like, there's no way it can go down. And then it fucking dives under with all the barrels, little bastard. So, it is at that point that it starts to go a little bad for the hunters as they decide to go down in a cage. They decide to do all this stuff that ends up, the man who goes down in the cage, Hooper, ends up getting knocked out of the cage and everything, hiding down in the rocks. The boat ends up getting crunched into by Jaws, and Jaws eats Quint right off the boat, and it just leads all to this final showdown between Brody and the shark, as Brody's like just about to go into the water and manages to take out the shark. You'll have to watch the movie to see how he takes out the shark, but it's very cool, and it's a scene that's been replicated a lot since then. So when you see it, it might not feel as original, but it was like the first movie to really do this. They've reused this, though, for pretty much so many giant monster movies and stuff like that, where they reuse the same setup as a way to end it. Anyways, after that, it ends with the 2 men, Hooper and not Quint, Hooper and Brody swimming back to shore, paddling together, joking and everything, while the dead shark is there in the background. Now, spoilers done. I will say this movie, overall, I am going to give it... Honestly, I'm going to give it 4. I'm going to give it 4 skulls. I think it was an enjoyable movie. I think it's a very good movie. But as a horror movie, I didn't really find it particularly scary. I thought it was an enjoyable movie. But not really that scary. It had the one spot that got me with the jump, but outside of that, not particularly a scary movie. That said, it did, I think most will agree, it made tons of people afraid of sharks and gave a negative image to sharks. So, I guess it was scary for a lot of people. But let me know in the comments what you thought of the movie Jaws, or if there's a movie you'd like for me to check out. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. Peace out, everybody.